Have you come across this code anywhere? 1744 to 0.55A/B/9172.00419. I'm sorry. It's already done. Even if your eyes just flashed over the code, it's too late. Trust me, it's better this way. At least you have someone who can tell you what it means, to tell you what to expect. Someone who's been through it, and survived. I didn't even realize I'd seen the code at first. I was just flicking through a magazine at my buddy's house. It was written on the back. You barely even register something like that. Just a series of numbers and symbols at random, right? But slowly, the longer it's a part of you, the deeper the fear sets in. Slow at first, kind of uneasy, like you had one coffee too many. But it gets worse. I can't explain it, I can't tell you where it came from. Beamed down from space? Translated from some ancient text? Maybe divined by reading the planets or stars or some shit. It's a total mystery to me. Its effects must have some kind of scientific reasoning, there must be logic or sense behind it, but whatever it is, I fear our science has not reached the stage to understand. More than likely it never will. The only reason I know the code was to blame for my buddy Tad's death was the literal writing on the wall. He had scrawled it everywhere. When his pens ran dry he used food. When he ran out of food, he scratched it in with knives. I won't tell you what he used when all his knives went dull. It drove him insane. Tad loved conspiracy theories, not quite to the flat earth level, but not far off. He was convinced we are just the playthings of some greater order, that there were events in motion that we puny humans were utterly powerless to prevent. I was always the skeptic to his believer. I guess he wins. In a sense at least. Be careful what you wish for, kids. The autopsy showed Tad's cause of death to be blood loss. I'm not so convinced. Sure, he lost a lot of blood, more than anyone ever should, but the look on his face when I found him. Blood loss is supposed to be like drifting off to sleep as your body shuts down, right? Then why did his face look like that? The cops had me in for questioning but they ruled me out as a suspect. Ruled out foul play. Open and shut case of psychotic episode, they said. A psychotic episode. Tad had no history of mental illness, never touched drugs, he was practically teetotal apart from caffeine, and black coffee sure as hell didn't make him cut out his own tongue. Sure, he could be kind of obsessive, could get excited when he was explaining one of his theories, but my friend hated violence, he nearly passed out when we were watching Evil Dead for God's sake. Too much blood he had said. Funny. One of Tad's favorite conspiracy theories, if you can call it that, was simulation theory. That is, if it's not obvious from the title, the theory that the universe as we know it is just a simulation, contained in a far bigger universe, a macroverse or some shit. The theory goes that it is logical to assume that if computers keep progressing as they have been, that someday in the near future, we will develop a computer capable of creating an image of our universe, one which the viewer will be unable to tell from our real universe. See where this is going? If one day we will almost certainly have this kind of program, then who is to say we do not have it already? That it hasn't already been invented and we are all imprisoned within it, or created by it. It could be used for any number of things, scientific research, historical reenactment, entertainment. And we would have no idea at all that our entire lives and the lives of everyone we have ever known, everyone we will never know were all just a series of numbers thrown together by an impossibly complex machine. I'm starting to sound like Tad. Tad spoke about this theory to no end, he was so excited about it, knew far more about it than I do. His theory was that our universe is a testing ground. They prod us and poke us and see what happens. Wouldn't be a reliable test if the subjects knew they were participating. Tad said they throw things at us, some that exist in their world, some that are as far as they can imagine. He pointed to UFO sightings, Bigfoot, people disappearing without a trace or turning up in impossible places with no memory of what had happened. I don't know. All I know is that my friend is dead and this code caused it. After I read the code on that magazine, 3 days before I found Tad, I began to feel different. It started with my mood, I felt on edge all the time, waiting for something to happen though I didn't know what. I began hearing things, laughter in a distant room, people walking outside my door, a cupboard slamming. I live alone. Things moved in my peripheral vision, darted away as soon as I looked in their direction. I could feel hands creeping towards the back of my neck as I sat reading at my desk. Perhaps you can feel them now. By the time I went to Tad for answers the things had crept from my peripheral vision into the dark corners, the end of my hall as I went to the bathroom at night. I could stare at them though I could never quite make them out, they were things of the dark. But I could feel them watching me. Waiting for something. I think it's a test. To see how far the human brain can be pushed before it snaps. This code initiates the test. The code you read. If you can feel the dread, it has already begun. But of course, you want to know how to beat it. I promised that, didn't I? Of course, only a madman would promise to have the answers to the impossible. Only the insane could hope to survive the unexplainable. Mustache, the walls are too bare. The eyes grow. Tearing flesh and dripping. Good luck. 1744 to 0.55a/b/9172.00419.